Hello, amor y paz. Marhaba. Hola, my name is Señorita Lake. I am very thankful to be presenting in this lovely conference. I want to thank the Greater Washington Association of Teachers of Foreign Language for creating this space for us to come together as foreign language teachers in the Washington, D.C. area to not only explore our curiosity by looking at what our peers are doing in the field, but also to collaborate and create something for the students at the end of the year. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm going to go ahead and get started. The presentations is going to be 15 minutes long, and I will go ahead and get started. World languages and cultural exposure through project-based learning. The objective is the world, cultures, and language exposure through project-based learning workshops. Objective is to create an understanding and showcase the positive outcomes of implementing project-based learning for world language and cultural exposure in foreign language curriculums to be able to teach children through hands-on activities, step-by-step process, rigorous skill acquisition and application, and more importantly, the opportunity to create spaces where families and the community are engaged in celebrating the child or the child's project. So the children will present at the end of the quarter. So I'm going to be basically sharing a project that I am going to be working on this year for our second quarter at CDC. And I want you to give me some feedback at the end of the presentation. Now that I've read the objective, I'm going to quickly tell you about our agenda. After the objective has been presented, I'm going to go ahead and tell you guys that after that, I'm going to give you the benefits of project-based learning, benefits of exposing children or adults to world languages and cultural exposure. And then I'm going to dive right into the project, which is titled Mi Manifestación, based on the Alchemist book. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to share my screen once more so we can continue. The terminology that we are going to be using for this project is holistic education, which is a comprehensive approach to teaching where educators are seeking to address more than the academics needs of the students, but also is a way for us as educators to make sure that we're implementing social and emotional and ethical education needs in the students through integrated learning format. Project-based learning, that's a teaching method in which students learn by actively engaging in a real world and personally meaningful projects, such as Mi Manifestación. Cultures, I want to make sure I define it because this is what they're going to get exposed to, like 3 different cultures, the customs and beliefs, arts, ways of life, and social organization of a particular country or group. Language is the system of communicating in speech writing that is used by people of a particular country or area. Now we're going to move on to the benefits like I was sharing earlier. The benefits of world languages and cultural exposures are increasing the brain power. Language is the gateway into another culture, becoming a better communicator in any language. It makes travel easier and more enjoyable, especially for our children in high school that would like to travel abroad for college or during their high school experience. It's a great way to start teaching them about what they're going to expect and experience in a different culture. Also, to preserve lesser known languages, become more open-minded and bridge cultural gaps, and also to become a global citizen. My source for that was the www.globalcitizen.org. The benefits of project-based learning, PBL and technology use brings new relevance to the learning at hand. So it gives children more ownership. PBL lends itself to authentic assessment. PBL promotes lifelong learning, which is what we all need, right? We're always learning. PBL accommodates students with different learning styles and differences, and research supports it, right? The source for that was utopia.org. I'm going to go ahead and move. So the project that I'm going to be using for this PBL and the cultures, I'm going to start talking to you guys about that now. The name of the project is Mi Manifestación, which translates to my manifestations. Students will present their projects in Spanish and English at a Find My Mentor Youth Conference in Southeast this spring to find their mentor during their day of presentation at a community center in Ward 7 and 8. The presentational modes, I'm going to continue to add to that, but I wanted to add that students will create a product that represents their manifestation and sell it during the event as well, to be able to save towards their summer global educational experience, virtual summit, or to travel abroad to the country in the near future. So that's the project creation. The modes of presentations could differentiate, right? They could do it virtually, or they could do it in person. That's why I don't have anything on there. One of the key elements of this project is the push for balanced literacy. I know that a lot of children experience learning loss, right, during COVID. So to make sure that I am supporting ELA teachers and supporting just my students in their English classes, I will be using the book, The Alchemist. Now, The Alchemist was a book picked by the Seed School of Washington, D.C. as a summer reading for us students. So I'm using that book because I'm able to leverage the fact that they already are familiar with the book. So we're going to revisit the book once more on Q2 to make sure that we dive deep, more deep into it. And there's pictures. I have the Spanish copy and I have the English copy. Shout out to Pablo Coelho. I love this book. That was my first book I read when I was learning English. The countries and cultures that the kids are going to get exposed to throughout this journey is Spain, Morocco, Egypt, Brazil, and Portugal. Why Brazil and Portugal? Because our author, Paulo Coelho, he is from Brazil and he speaks Portuguese. So I'm going to do a brief lesson about the author with the students before presenting the product that I want them to craft for their manifestation. The foreign language exposures are Spanish, Portuguese, and Arabic. So this is just exposing them to these three languages, right? Then we go to the DC standards. I wanted to make sure I had the DC standards here so you guys could feel comfortable if you wanted to present this to a school leader or somebody that might want to do something innovative in your department of foreign language. And they definitely are in alignment with what I am presenting today. The cross-curricular connection. I was sharing earlier the book, the balanced literacy. So they're going to be doing an essay about the book. And we're going to create a book and publish it about the essay so it can go to some type of philanthropy idea that if they want to do a field trip in the summer with me, it goes towards that. So the other cross-curriculum connection I have on here is math. So they're going to have the ability to recognize numbers in Spanish and Arabic, verbally, written, and in characters to solve basic math problems, right? They're going to be doing math problems in the target language to reinforce skills from math through different, yet following the same formulas in the native language, right? Public speaking is so important that children learn about public speaking. So they're going to do their public speaking presentations in Spanish and English at the end of everything. I'm going to also have an art connection where the students are going to create canvas portraits of what the manifestation illustration is to them in their eyes. In history also, because we're going to explore, excuse me, the history of the Moors of Spain, okay? And definitely we will add on to that because we need to make sure that we are fully engaged in the main character's experience. His name is Santiago. For community connections, I have that we will be visiting 4 different places in DC that are not abroad, but that are here. So students will visit each of the country's embassies and restaurant during a day of immersion in the culture during our second quarter to be able to connect students to folks in their community from the cultures that they're learning about, to give them more ownership of that learning experience. We're going to visit Fogo de Chao in the Brazilian embassy, Taberna del Alvarero in the Spain embassy, in the Spanish embassy, the Mekki DC, which is a Moroccan restaurant, also the Moroccan embassy. And we're going to also visit Koshari by Mixteca, and we will visit the Egyptian embassy. The global citizenship test is they're going to have virtual speaker events in the coming weeks. The first one will be a speaker from Brazil, maybe even the author of the book. The virtual speaker events will happen on my Instagram live or on my YouTube channel. So scholars do not need to join me on a Zoom, but they could just do a virtual experience. They're going to have a speaker from Egypt. They're also going to have a speaker from Spain and a speaker from Morocco. And their task for their digital citizenship is to email a letter of appreciation to each of the speakers. They're going to create a Google slide presentation, and they're going to create a website with materials based on the presentation and their Spanish essay at the end, Spanish and English essay. They're going to find joy by engaging in an experiential learning through cultural exposure of the 4 different cultures that the project will be exposing them to. They're going to present their project at a community events, many times, not just the one that they're saving for. And they're also going to be presenting in front of a Spanish-speaking audience. And they're also going to find joy by learning Arabic with their teacher. So we're going to learn Arabic together. I know a little bit, but I want to explore more Arabic with my students. And the evidence outcome is going to be the students' portfolio website, their presentation, their individual fundraisers to ensure that they're sharpening their philanthropy skill sets. They're going to also create an essay. If they choose to create a YouTube video and channel, I will definitely support them in doing that. And they're going to learn how to collect data by creating a survey at the end of their presentation, such as the one I'm doing, to gather data, and they're going to get a little exposure to data through that. I know I shared a lot, but I want to make sure that you guys are able to connect with me and give me some feedback on the presentation. I'm more than excited to share this presentation with anybody that needs it. You just have to make sure you email me, but please complete this survey, this post-presentation survey. Let me know how I did. Let me know what you think I should add, and let's stay connected. Okay, let's make sure we stay connected. This is my information. If you scan that code, it'll take you to my LinkedIn and all of my social media handles that I asked you for at the survey. So I'm going to put the survey one more time. And I want to thank you guys for taking the time to join me in this presentation. And again, I want to thank the Greater Washington Association of Teachers of Foreign Language for giving me the opportunity to present this idea with my fellow foreign language teachers in the DC area. Amor y paz.